So far, Goldgrind sits at level 50 with more than 15k gold in his bags. In this episode, the plan is to push all the way to level 60 and maybe, just maybe, reach 30k gold. For those of you just tuning in for the first time, this is Goldgrind, a fresh character with one simple goal: get best in slot gear using only gold. On Warmane, gold can be traded for coins, and coins can buy you any item you want. So far, Goldgrind has about 2 days of total playtime, with almost 90% of time spent farming gold and only 10% on leveling. And now the journey continues. Okay, small confession from Goldgrind. In the previous episode, he was leveling with spells only learned up to level 40. 10 levels without visiting a trainer. That's how easy this leveling journey has been. Today, Goldgrind finally learns all his missing spells and heads back to questing, pushing toward level 60. And to make the rest of the trip smoother, no more trainer visits needed. He treated himself to a few gear upgrades, better stats, easier quests, easier open world PvP. Yes, he even bought epic shoulders. Why not? He can afford it. Questing isn't the fastest way to 60, but Goldgrind needed time in the background to catch up on professions anyway. And speaking of professions, before heading to Angoro Crater, he realized he had completely forgotten to learn the next ranks. So he took not one, but 2 flights to Booty Bay to fix that. Don't judge him, even Goldgrind makes simple mistakes. Once he reached Tanneries, he turned in all the quests saved from last episode, and while traveling toward his next zone, he worked on leveling both mining and herbalism. With his skills still around 225, Angoro wasn't quite ready for him yet, but a few herbs and ores in Tanneries helped bridge that gap nicely. Angoro is one of the zones that just feels good to play through. Simple quests, clean layout, and with Goldgrind's upgraded gear, everything melts. Most tasks are straightforward. Kill mobs, collect quest items, repeat. Nothing he hasn't done 100 times already. With just a couple of visits to the camps, you can pick basically everything, make one full lap around the zone, and walk out with roughly 70% of the quests already done. You don't even need to finish them all to hit level 60, which means you can choose the ones you enjoy and skip the annoying ones. Because Angoro is a contested zone, PvP is basically guaranteed, whether you want it or not. Goldgrind isn't a big PvP enjoyer, but when someone jumps on him, he handles it. And hey, that earned him another achievement, his first honorable kill. After just one clean lap around Angoro, Goldgrind grabbed 2 easy levels without even breaking a sweat. With almost every quest finished, he returned to camp, turned everything in, and that bump alone pushed him straight to level 57. When quests are this simple, leveling is basically free XP. Quick trip to Tanneries to empty the bags, visit the banker, and then straight back to Angoro to finish the last 2.5 levels. Clean, fast, no nonsense. Time spent on leveling landed just under 3-hour mark. Not a speedrun, but far from slow. And considering more than 20 minutes lost on travel, plus another chunk wasted on unwanted PvP, the pace actually looks pretty solid. After hitting level 60, Goldgrind emptied his bags and listed every material from the journey on the auction house. And yes, this time he really went to the trainer. Both specs updated, all spells learned, glyphs in place. With leveling handled once again, there's only one thing left to focus on. It's time to make some gold. The easiest and honestly one of the fastest ways to make gold is simple gathering. A quick portal to the Blasted Lands is all Goldgrind needs. That zone is absolutely packed with nodes. Somehow the Burning Grounds grows more herbs than half of Azeroth. Guess flowers really do love fire. three herbs dominate the area: Firebloom, Sungrass and Gromsblot. Their prices are pretty similar, not amazing, but the key thing is this: they sell fast. No sitting around waiting days for mailbox gold. On the ores side, it's mostly mithril and thorium, with the occasional true silver or gold vein. One cave in particular is loaded with about 5 nodes, but clearing it means fighting through almost every mob inside. The upside? Extra cloth, extra drops and sometimes a sneaky boy. After 2 hours, Goldgrind's bags were completely full. Everything combined, herbs, ores, bars, totally roughly 3000 gold, even after investing a bit to convert mithril ore into bars. So far, things are looking very promising. For comparison, Goldgrind decided to test 2 more gathering zones. The first one sits far up north from Stormwind, Western Plaguelands. Herbs here are slightly more valuable than those in Blasted Lands, and the zone has a big bonus: 2 caves with very fast respawn timers. A lot of players already know about this spot, so expect competition. The gold per hour potential is definitely higher, but there's a catch. Goldgrind is only level 60 right now. Clearing mobs and forcing your way to veins isn't exactly lightning fast at this level. And on top of that, the place is pretty far from the auction house, which means more travel and less farming. Solid zone, good income, but not the smoothest workflow for Goldgrind at this stage. The second comparison zone was much closer to Stormwind, Burning Steppes. Ore-wise, it's pretty similar to the Blasted Lands, but with noticeably more thorium than mithril. The downside is the presence of dark iron ore, which is gathered often but isn't worth much on the auction house. As for the herbs, the zone offers Dreamfoil, Sungrass, Golden Sansam and Mountain Silver Sage. Not a bad selection, but unlike the Blasted Lands, the herbs here are more spread out, making the overall route a bit less efficient. When you put all 3 zones together, Blasted Lands, Western Plaguelands and Burning Steppes, Goldgrind secured a bit over 5000 gold in total. Solid profit for pure gathering. With roughly 1/3 of the gold farmed after selling everything, Goldgrind still had about 10k gold left to go. So it was time to return to an old classic: fishing. The best catch from the previous episode was clearly the Wyatt fish, so back to the Barrens he went. The method is simple: move from pool to pool, fish it out, walk a bit, repeat. On the top of that, the floating crates provide a surprising amount of leather, so after nearly 3 hours, Goldgrind walked away with a full bag, 400 pieces. Add in a solid chunk of strangle kelp, which also sells well, and things looked promising. Unfortunately, the market shifted. The price of savory Wyatt Delight dropped from about 10 gold each to under 7, meaning less profit overall. And the real problem? This cosmetic item sells slow. With more people doing the same cozy Barrens fishing route, plus the server's population of fishing bots, the auction house gets flooded quickly. In the end though, this method still brought in around 5000 additional gold. The final 5k gold came from something far less exciting than gathering or fishing: standing in the front of the auction house for hours, flipping mithril bars and mithril ore. The strategy was simple: buy them cheap, release them high, and control the price so both items stayed roughly equal in the value. And yes, it was profitable, technically. But the amount of time it took, way too much. Constant scanning, constant reposting, constant undercuts. And once players saw the higher prices, some just said nope and went out to farm their own mithril instead, which absolutely murdered the sale rate. Goldgrind did eventually sell most of it, but the last stacks had to be dumped below the buying price, just to clear space and move on. Definitely not a method he plans to repeat anytime soon. With that, Goldgrind's gold total reached 31,000 gold, all achieved in just under 2 days and 22 hours of total playtime. To wrap up this episode's gold making journey, the results are pretty clear. Gathering stands out as the strongest method overall. Pick a solid zone, run a few loops, and you can reliably expect the gold to land in your mailbox within 24 hours. The only drawback is that materials don't always sell for high prices, but the fast turnover makes up for it. Fishing comes in as the runner-up. The gold per hour can actually be better than gathering, but the slow sale rate holds it back, especially with more players and bots farming the same items. And at the bottom of the list, auction house flipping. In theory, it should be quick gold. Buy cheap, sell high, profit within hours. In reality, days of reposting, constant undercuts, and profit margins that barely justify the time spent. Not great, not fun, and definitely not efficient. Before wrapping things up, there are few important notes. In the last Discord vote, you decided that it doesn't really matter which feature Goldgrind unlock next. You want to see multiple different ways of making gold. And that's exactly what this series will keep delivering. With Goldgrind now at level 60, his next destination is Outland. And since each episode becomes more complex and takes more time to record and edit, I'll try to release one episode per week. Thanks in advance for understanding if an episode occasionally drops a little later than planned. For all updates on release times, make sure to keep an eye on the Discord announcements. If you made it all the way to this point in the video, thank you. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss any episode of Goldgrind. Until then, see you in the next one in Outland.